everyone, I'm Food for Dogs, and today I'm doing a request video. As some of you probably know, I do quite a lot on Twitter, and for the last 42 days I've been doing a daily showcase of Vita limited editions, putting up photos and talking a bit about the back history, and that has been very popular. Now, one of my followers on Twitter said, Britta, why don't you do a video about Atelier Shallie? And I said, I thought I had done a video. I've done so many Atelier videos. Surely I've done Shallie. And then I checked and I found, no, he was right. I haven't done a Shallie video. So today I'm setting that to rights, and the request is by JRPG Pete. Hi Pete. This is your Atelier Shallie video. By the way, Pete also runs his own YouTube channel, so I'll put details below in the description. Now, Atelier Shallie is quite close to my heart, as are, well, all Atelier games are, but I've got a special connection with Shallie. It all started out with the game releasing on the PlayStation 3. And that happened in March 2015, so basically 5 years ago. It was the last Atelier game to come to the PS3. And I understood why when I played it. The demands by the game on the console were quite high, and I noticed as I got into the end game with powerful enemies, lots of special attacks, special effects, particle effects, etc., that the PS3 was struggling at times, and sometimes the frame rate dipped and it even slowed down a bit, or I occasionally even got freezes. My PS3 heated up like mad. I was basically sitting there hoping I'd get to the end of the game safely. I did, but that was the end of Atelier on the PS3. It's surprising how demanding a game like this can be in terms of the power and the graphics required. Gust took the step up to the PS4 after this, and the next game, which was Atelier Sophie, came out on the PlayStation 4. However, after the release on the PlayStation 3, Gust, as usual, put out a Plus edition, which has normally the DLC in with it, and also brings in some further expansion, usually some extra dungeons, some extra bosses, and so on. And that came to Japan, the Plus edition for the Vita, in March 2016, so a year after the PS3. It came out in Japan, and this is the Japanese edition, called the Premium Box for Atelier Shallie. And this is the game. As you can see, I haven't opened the Japanese copy of the game because I've got the Western version. And in January 2017, Shallie Plus finally came to the West in a limited edition in this box. Similar size to the Japanese box, but slightly different. And I'll just show you the back of the box. It's really beautifully illustrated with the 2 Shallies on there. And the game, I think the game cover looks practically identical to the Japanese one. Would that be right? The cover art itself. So yeah, I've got the European edition of the game, so that's region 2. We have in the background the music from the soundtrack, and the soundtrack is really, really nice. As you know, Gust really specialise in great music, and all the Atelier games have really beautiful and memorable tracks. The disc itself is beautifully illustrated, and I don't know if you can see that, but there's a sort of pastel type a background scene from the game in the inside cover there for the case of the OST. So that's all very nice. I'll show you the book in a moment. I just wanted to talk a bit about Atelier Shallie. I said it's got a special place in my heart. Most games that you really like, I think we all experience that. There is one particular moment that we just always remember. And I had one such moment in Atelier Shallie, and I hope you'll humour me. I'll tell you what it was. I had got the ship by then, so I was able to explore the whole map in Atelier Shallie, and that is important because you have to go around doing a whole series of quests and explorations and finding stuff for alchemy, etc. So I'd just done a big journey, and I was on my way home, and my crew was very low on HP and MP, and I thought, well, I'll wait till I get home for that. I didn't want to use my, precious healing resources. So as I was sailing through the sand sea, because we're not talking water, it's all desert in Atelier Shallie, so they're crossing huge sand seas, I thought, oh, I won't take the usual route that I go, I'll take the top route. I haven't gone round that way before, it'll just be something different. And well, you just never know what's going to happen. But as I took that route, suddenly out of nowhere, a huge, absolutely enormous sand dragon reared up, towered above the ship. It was a boss. And I thought, what do I do now? I mean, I suppose I could have backed out, and I would have had to go back to an earlier save file, and I would have lost quite a lot of cargo and stuff, and the time, obviously. But also, it just didn't feel right, because whatever happens in a game, if an enemy turns up, you have a go. And if you lose, that's fine. Then you have to go back and, catch up from the last save file. But in my book, you always give it a try. You never know what will happen. So I started that boss battle already with my crew virtually teetering on their knees. And I just hung in there, trying to slowly build up a bit of HP, reviving people as they fell over. It was a really, really tough battle, and at one point I thought, I've had it, this is it. But I just hung in there, and one last hit, and to my great surprise, he went down. And I defeated that boss, and I can't describe the relief with which I finally managed to head back home to the inn. So that was one of the memorable boss fights with the Sand Dragon that I will never ever forget. So I'll show you now a bit from the Alchemist Handbook, which comes with the Western edition, and that's a really nice booklet. It's sort of, you can look at it from both sides. It's got the two Shallies on either side, and it sort of folds out in the middle. But I'll just show you some character illustrations from the start of the book. And that's, of course, one of the Shallies, the Shallistera. The book is very nicely produced on good paper, a bit glossy, a beautiful print. This is the other Shallie, Charlotte. She's what I call the funny one. She is a very, very entertaining character. And most of you, if you play Atelier, will know Will Bell. She is a returning character, a young magician, also very humorous. An interesting character is this very young Miruka. Atelier Shallie brought in a new type of alchemy. You still have the traditional alchemy, which is what the two Shallies do, but additionally you find this Miruka character, she practices a more technological type of alchemy, which is used for improving your weapons and armor. So you have that to handle as well. So you're kept quite busy in that game. And I'd have to say, in all Atelier games, you need to keep on top of your alchemy. But in this one, you really need to use Miruka to improve your gear. Otherwise, you will struggle. Keith Griff Hazeldine returns from Atelier Aisha. He's one of my favourite characters. He's very gruff and always very interesting and slightly mysterious. And my absolute favourite, a little homunculus called Homura. I just love Homura, or Homura, I think he's called in the game. Homura loves sweets above anything else. So, Escamalia makes a return as well. You will know her if you've played Escandlogy. So a really wonderful cast of characters, lovely scenery illustrations. So that's the very nice art book. Now I'll move over to the Japanese edition, and as you can see we've got a little soft cotton cloth here with the two Shallies on it, and that is very nice. It's sort of quite soft textured. If you know German, I would call that Frottee. So it's a Frottee type of cotton cloth. The box is also nice. It's got the usual details on the back for the Japanese edition. And unlike the Western box, it folds out on the side here, which is, you see, a side folding flap. Japanese really seem to like the side flap and use it a lot. It also comes with a 3D card, and of course this will not show up well at all because a camera can't do 3D, so you'll have to take my word for it that there are the two Shallies on here, and if I hold it up against the window in daylight, I can see them in depth, you know, in 3D. So that's quite nice. But for me, the really special thing about the Japanese edition and why I wanted it was, of course, the crystal paperweight. And if you've been following my other atelier videos, you will know by now that I developed an obsession with getting those paperweights, and I made a video once I had the complete collection. And the Shallie is one of the paperweights, and I will now just try and put it over here so we can hopefully have a better look at it, like that. Cameraman, is that about right? Oh. I'll just lay it down flat as well. It's sort of engraved right on the inside in the center, and the effect is just absolutely spectacular. So that's my Atelier Shallie collection. 2 limited editions, one the Western, one the Japanese, and the original PS3 game. I hope you found that enjoyable. Pete, I hope this has finally answered all your questions. Thank you for your request. Everybody keep well, please. I'm Food for Dogs. Bye-bye.